Welcome to this generating facility owned and operated by the Omaha Public Power District. For everyone's benefit, we want to always maintain a safe work environment. To do this, there are certain rules that must be followed. Failure to do so can result in disciplinary action that could lead to removal from the job site and being placed on a Do Not Hire list. At OPPD, we do not want anyone to perform work that is unsafe. With this in mind, each of you is expected to exercise stop work authority if there is anything involved that appears to be unsafe. For example, work being performed without the proper protective equipment or under a suspended load. If work is stopped, your supervisor must be immediately notified. If you and your supervisor disagree, the concern must then be taken to your OPPD sponsor. Everyone involved should work to resolve problems and collaborate on ways to make any job safer, like the use of protective equipment, specific tools, or utilizing different strategies. The goal is to do our job intelligently and efficiently while never compromising safety. The key is to be patient and respectful of each other. Working together as a team, we can make the generating stations a safer workplace. Please ensure your supervisor reviews the OPPD Contractor Awareness Card prior to starting job tasks. Harassment of any kind will not be tolerated and are grounds for immediate dismissal. This includes sexual harassment of any nature, derogatory remarks based on a person's ethnicity, gender, and/or sexual orientation, hazing in any form, physical altercations on any OPPD worksite, defacing OPPD property in any form, and unlawful removal of any OPPD property without proper authorization. Any and all parties involved will be removed from and denied future access to all OPPD worksites. You must also be aware that all personnel and vehicles entering or leaving OPPD property are subject to random search. The following items are strictly prohibited: illegal drugs and drug paraphernalia, alcoholic beverages, unopened or otherwise, firearms or weapons of any type, pornographic materials. Possession of any of these materials could result in your removal from the job site and being placed on the Do Not Hire list. One of the key elements for having a safe work environment is fitness for duty. OPPD expects everyone to come to work in a condition fit for work. That means absolutely no alcohol, no drugs, or being under the influence of any product or medication. OPPD provides a healthy and productive work setting by establishing a tobacco-free environment. To protect all employees and contractors from health hazards, OPPD prohibits the use of tobacco products, to include vaping, by anyone, anytime, while on company property, in all OPPD vehicles, or at all OPPD-sponsored off-site meetings. For any 911 emergency injury, fire, unsuspecting hazard situation, or inadvertent bump equipment manipulation that is encountered, contact the shift supervisor immediately using the plant Guytronics system and ensure all details of the current situation are relayed to the shift supervisor. For example, the unit location, the elevation, any pieces of equipment in the area, and so forth, and stay on the line until the shift supervisor releases you. This critical step allows the shift supervisor to escort emergency personnel to the location, as well as provide any immediate assistance, if available, by the OPPD certified EMTs on site. In case of a fire, you should always recognize your limitations. If the fire is in an early stage and you are comfortable doing so, locate the nearest portable extinguisher. Pull the pin or break the seal. Aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. Squeeze and hold the handle. Sweep the nozzle from side to side. Be aware of the various fire suppression systems, as well as carbon dioxide detectors on site, and immediately vacate the area if alarm is triggered. Please ensure that the shift supervisor has been contacted, obey all postings, and listen to all announcements. Following contact with the shift supervisor, please also contact your OPPD sponsor for any emergency situation, when any other injury incident occurs, or when chemical concerns are encountered. Remember, for any emergency, contact the shift supervisor immediately. The plant communication system is for business use only. To use the Guytronics system, select a channel, lift the handset from the cradle, ensure that the line is cleared, without pressing the button, just ask. Press and hold button, and make the announcement in a normal speaking voice. Absolutely no cat calls or horseplay is allowed on the system. Weather conditions are constantly monitored by central security personnel, and they will notify the shift supervisor in the event of any severe weather situations that would affect the station. It's then the shift supervisor's responsibility to alert station personnel. It is always the first-line supervisors and managers' responsibility to account for their assigned employees and visitors. It is imperative that everyone follow all announced instructions. In the event of a tornado, a warning will sound and the following announcement will be made. Attention all plant personnel. This generating station is currently in a tornado warning area. Proceed immediately in an orderly manner to the nearest tornado shelter. Exact locations and directions will be given by the OPPD sponsor. All personnel should remain in their shelter until an all-clear announcement is made. If an announcement is made to evacuate the station due to an unsafe event, please listen intently and follow all announcement instructions precisely. Make sure to be courteous to others during the evacuation. All identified shelter and evacuation locations are listed in the site-specific section later in the video. Periodic testing of the emergency alarm system may occur while you're on site, and that clarification will be made during the announcement. If contractors do not have access to specific plant areas, they'll need to be escorted by authorized personnel to the specific area. If a contractor has been granted unescorted access to a specific area, they are allowed to escort up to 10 other visitors in accordance with the OPPD Personal Access Standard. The escort is responsible for the continuous observation of visitors under their escort. All contractors must be escorted if required to enter a substation located at any of the generating facilities, unless you're NERC qualified and trained. Tailgating or following another person through a controlled door without badging in is strictly prohibited. Contractors must never loan their badge to a visitor or other badged person. In the case of a lost or stolen badge, report it immediately to the OPPD sponsor. No locked doors or gates, including overhead doors, shall be propped or left open unless it is continuously monitored or approved by the OPPD sponsor and communicated to corporate security. Always remember to follow all posted signage within the plant. Failure to follow any of the above-listed badge access requirements may lead to being escorted off-site. You should always be aware of exit door locations. These could be doors that roll up, slide, or swing. Always use caution when opening and passing through any door. All OPPD locker rooms and lunch areas are solely for the use of OPPD personnel. Your supervisor and OPPD sponsor will have more information on the location of your site-specific break area location. All portable restrooms and hand wash stations for contractors are located outside of the plant site. Elevators are available for use by contractors inside the generating stations. Specific elevator locations are discussed in the station-specific information. All elevator weight and personnel limits are clearly posted and must be observed at all times. There are also outside stack elevators should you need them. However, their use in cold weather or windy conditions should be limited. In the event that an elevator stops between floors, use the Guytronics system to notify the shift supervisor. The tool room and storeroom are for OPPD personnel use only. If there are any supplies that you require from either area, they must be procured by your OPPD sponsor. There are numerous railroad crossings as well as various commercial delivery trucks entering and exiting the plant sites at all hours of the day. Please remain vigilant when crossing any railroad track or paved access road via foot or vehicle. Please also keep in mind that all contractors must have at least one representative on site at all times that can speak fluent English to allow for proper communication channels between OPPD and the contractor. Note that OPPD's Technical Services Department monitors all computer activity on both the corporate intranet and all access to the Internet. All electronic-based communications are subject to OPPD policy and procedures. Access to the OPPD intranet is subject to OPPD approval and may be withdrawn at any time. Contractors must also get computers, flash drives, external devices, virus tested through technical services prior to utilizing OPPD's system. OPPD's Corporate Marketing and Communications Department is responsible for the coordination and release of all information to the media. If anyone contacts you requesting information, simply refer them to your OPPD sponsor. Safety is an absolute imperative at the work site, so as you do your work, we need you to follow the rules. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification. If you're given a work assignment and you have any questions whatsoever about what to do, stop work and talk to your supervisor and then proceed with the job. All OPPD employees and contractors are required to utilize stop work authority and questioning attitude during all aspects of work. OPPD requires all individuals on site to wear personal protective equipment, PPE, which includes hard hats, ear protection, safety glasses, gloves, and the appropriate footwear. Your supervisor must review each day's activities with the appropriate OPPD sponsor to ensure that conditions have not changed that would affect your work area or the necessary personal protective equipment needed. Safety showers, as well as face and eye wash stations, are located wherever bulk chemicals are being used. The stations are inspected monthly and have two methods of initiation. Pull down the handle to activate the shower. Pull the handle to activate the face and eye wash. At OPPD, we have a hazardous materials communications program that complies with the OSHA regulations. There are safety data sheets on site for all the hazardous products. You have the right to request a safety data sheet, and we expect you to know the hazards of a product before using it. As a contractor, you may bring materials on site. However, you must have a safety data sheet for those products and give a copy to the OPPD sponsor, as well as train your people on the correct use of that product. Any type of hazardous chemical container, regardless of size, must be labeled to identify the type of chemical hazards associated with it. Do not put hazardous materials into random containers. Whenever unsure, contact your OPPD sponsor, who will contact the on-site chemistry department directly. At any of the generating stations, you may encounter high-pressure steam leaks or materials containing lead paint, asbestos, or other commercial products classified as hazardous and are dangerous if present. Always be cognizant and aware of your surroundings at all times. If any of these hazards are encountered, contact your OPPD sponsor, who will provide you with specific information and answer any questions before proceeding. Coal dust is a definite hazard and care must be used at all times. Dust explosions can occur when any powdered combustible material is present in an enclosed atmosphere. A few common sources of ignition are electrostatic discharge, friction, arcing from machinery or other equipment, hot surfaces including such things as overheated bearings, fire, and spontaneous combustion. If you see smoke coming from a pile of coal dust, immediately call the shift supervisor utilizing the Guytronics system. Hexavalent chromium may be formed when welding on stainless steel or melting chromium metal. Exposure to this is often found in many industrial applications. When working in an area that could possibly have this gaseous chemical, personnel should always utilize multiple safety controls. These include respirators, fume extractors, clean air sources, and proper handling equipment. If working on areas located near hydrogen or natural gas at the stations, it may require the use of specialized tooling to ensure the safety of all plant personnel. Please contact your OPPD sponsor for additional clarification if needed. There is also additional specific generating facility chemical hazard awareness addressed later in the site-specific portion of this video. It's important that we're always good stewards of the environment and control our waste disposal. This could be hazardous waste, any kinds of special waste, or just the general waste that most of us consider garbage. Do not dispose of any product that could be considered hazardous or a special waste without following the appropriate procedures. For example, aerosol cans must never be disposed of in regular trash receptacles. There are clearly marked collection points for empty aerosol cans at each generating facility. Because the contents of gas cylinders are under pressure and are sometimes hazardous, there are special safety regulations for handling bottled gases. Gas cylinders, whether full or empty, shall be stored in an upright position, i.e., using brackets, chains, or straps around the upper third of the cylinder, in a location where cylinders will not be knocked over or damaged by passing or falling objects, or subject to tampering, proper ventilation to prevent injury or death in the case of leaks, and signage to indicate the potential hazards. If the valve of a compressed air cylinder is broken or sheared off, the released pressure will cause the cylinder to act like an uncontrolled missile. All gas cylinders that are not in use shall have protective valve covers installed. Working from elevated positions may require the use of ladders, scaffolds, scissor lifts, and fall protection. It is the responsibility of the OPPD sponsor to address and correct the improper use of such equipment. Any contractor utilizing a portable ladder while at a generating station shall follow applicable OSHA safety standards. Portable metal ladders and other portable conductive ladders are not allowed on site. Ladders shall not be modified from manufacturer recommendations, and all ladders shall be removed from site following completion of work. OPPD uses scaffold tags placed on the scaffold ladder for your protection and safety. An inspection of the scaffold must be completed every shift, and the associated tag must be updated before use. The red scaffold tag means keep off. The scaffold is unsafe or incomplete. The yellow scaffold tag means caution. There are hazards associated with a scaffold that you must be aware of. However, the scaffold is ready for use, and you'll find the inspection dates and signatures on the back of the tag. The green scaffold tag means ready for use. You'll find the inspection dates and signatures on the back of the tag. Regarding equipment operation, contractors are not allowed to operate OPPD-owned or leased equipment or vehicles. If a contractor is required to operate equipment like a crane, forklift, personnel lift, or scissor lift, they must provide documentation to the OPPD sponsor proving that the individual is a trained and qualified operator. When contractors are operating forklifts, they are required to abide by all safety regulations, including proper rigging techniques and ensuring that all loads are properly secured when handling material. In the event that your job requires any temporary electrical feed, contact your OPPD sponsor to have OPPD electricians do the necessary work. Keep an eye out. If your work requires you to be in or near the area of the coal pulverizers, watch for the red flashing warning lights located near the pulverizers and/or control room. Operations personnel will turn on the red flashing warning lights for certain pulverizer operations. As you are working at OPPD, you may see areas where there is barrier tape. You are expected to understand and follow the warning provided by that tape. A yellow caution tape tells you that the area has limited access. Stay out of the area unless you have a specific need to work in that area. Only enter if you are familiar with the area and can safely respond to the warning contained on the caution tape. A red danger tape means there is an imminently dangerous situation in the area and not to cross the tape without the permission of the person posting the area. Violation of this policy can lead to being escorted off-site. A magenta barrier tape tells you not to enter the area without the permission of the person posting the area due to radiography X-rays being performed. A primary safety defense mechanism is the lockout-tagout system. Anytime a person is going to work on a piece of equipment where it could move, start, give an electrical shock, or release any kind of stored energy, we isolate and tag out that energy source to prevent any injuries. There is a specific tagging procedure that requires your supervisor, through the OPPD sponsor, to get the component safely removed from service and tagged out. OPPD utilizes a computer-based lockout-tagout tagging system, and it's available on all OPPD computers. Your OPPD sponsor will sign on as the clearance holder on your behalf. You must communicate all of your tagging needs through your OPPD sponsor. Prior to starting any work on an OPPD system requiring a tagout, a contractor tagout verification form must be completed, reviewed, and signed by both the OPPD sponsor and a contractor representative. This is to ensure clear and complete communication and to prevent harm to both personnel and equipment. Just as it is important to de-energize and lock out, tag out all equipment to be worked, employees and contractors must also clearly understand what equipment in the area will still be energized or presents a potential hazard. Therefore, prior to any work on plant or near-plant systems, the contractor must confirm with their OPPD sponsor the specific equipment and items that may be worked. Confirmation must happen at the job site. Items that must be discussed include cut lines on high-energy piping, various electrical sources, use of air power or water, and doors or manways that need to be accessed. Do not remove or disturb any equipment or devices that has a Danger Do Not Operate tag attached. Contact your OPPD sponsor for further direction. A hot work permit is available through the operations or material handling room and required for any metal cutting, welding, grinding, or open flame while on site. The control room is an NERC regulated area, and the OPPD sponsor will decide how to obtain the hot work permit. Fire blankets are required to be used during hot work to prevent sparks from falling through the grating and into other areas of the plant. Be aware of the explosive blasting and X-ray processes. At the start of the outage, the furnace will be deslagged. Blasting begins in the upper elevations of the boiler and works downward towards the main floor of each plant. During the blasting process, danger signs and tape will be hung one floor above and below the blasting area to ensure all personnel stay clear of the area. In areas where X-raying is being conducted, magenta barrier tape will be utilized. Ensure to stay clear of those areas. Announcements will be made on the Guytronics before each blast and X-ray that is in progress. Before a person enters a confined space, it's mandatory that you understand the procedures for confined space entry. All energy sources need to be isolated before work begins. If you are going to be doing any welding in a confined space, you must understand how to use the hot work permit to track and control hazards that are related to those spaces. It's important that you always understand the hazards of a confined space and review the confined space procedure before work begins. As a reminder, there is to be absolutely no eating or drinking inside the boiler or any other foreign material exclusion (FME) restricted area at all times. As a reminder, no excavation is to take place on OPPD property until proper authorization provided by your OPPD sponsor has occurred. Everyone involved wants all work to be completed successfully. At OPPD, we understand that this is an industrial environment and that hazards may be unintentionally created. With this in mind, we would expect you to constantly look out for those hazards and take the necessary steps to correct them if they exist. Specifically, while working at the North Omaha station, contractors are to park in the lot located just west of the plant prior to passing through the guard shack. There are two designated tornado shelters: the carpenter shop located south of Unit Number 1 on the first floor, the coal handling shaker house basement on the northeast side of the plant. There are 3 elevators that should be utilized. The south elevator is located south of Unit Number 1. The middle elevator is between Unit Number 1 and Number 2 control room and Unit Number 3 and Number 4 control room. And the north elevator is located between the Unit Number 4 and Unit Number 5 boiler. The North Omaha Station Units Number 1, Number 2, and Number 3 exhaust gases into a common stack during outages. Because of this, the station has a stack isolation procedure to ensure safe working conditions for all employees. There are flashing strobe lights at the precipitator alleyway and ID fans. These strobes notify workers of potential stack flue gas issues when the strobes are lit. Stay clear of and leave these areas when the lights are flashing. Should a condition arise that could result in an unsafe work condition, an announcement will be made over the Guytronics giving specific directions. North Omaha Station uses low-level nuclear radiation sources for level detection. Should you have any questions about anything specifically related to the North Omaha Station, please contact your OPPD sponsor. Specifically, while working at Nebraska City Station, contractors are to park in the lot located just west of the plant prior to passing through the secondary security gate. Be aware of all emergency announcements and warning sirens while on site at NCS. There are 2 different warning sirens that may be heard. One indicates an emergency situation, and the other indicates an ammonia hazard being present. Depending on the severity of a required ammonia evacuation, the following sites could be utilized: the administrative building cafeteria, contractor parking lot, trailhead prior to entering plant site, and lastly, the Walmart parking lot located in Nebraska City. Please ensure all announcements are followed precisely following the siren being sounded. Shelter-in-place locations, should they be needed, are both of the locker rooms located in the administrative building. There are 4 designated tornado shelters: the Instrument and Control (INC) shop in the administrative building, the intake structure basement, the storeroom (INC storage room), and the coal handling reclaim tunnel. There are 4 elevators that can be utilized. The NC1 North elevator is located near the NC1 turbine bay and is to be used by contractors. The NC1 South elevator provides access to the NC1 control room and is to be used by OPPD personnel only. The NC2 North elevator provides access to the NC2 control room and is to be used by OPPD personnel only. The NC2 South elevator is located on the far south wall of NC2 and is to be used by contractors. Nebraska City Station utilizes lime, a caustic substance hazard, for emissions control. Should you have any questions about anything specifically related to the Nebraska City Station, please contact your OPPD sponsor. Lastly, if working at one of the peaking station locations, contractors are to park in the following locations: Sarpy County Station, the lot just west of the plant prior to passing through the guard shack; Cass County Station, general parking with all OPPD employees; Jones Street Station, park outside the fenced area prior to entering the plant. The Breakers apartment complex located northeast of the station is a no parking zone for all contractors. There are designated tornado shelters: Sarpy County Station, service building basement in the tool spare parts room; Cass County Station, service building maintenance bay in the turbine technician shop; Jones Street Station, service building restroom located on the west side of the units. There are also designated site evacuation locations: Sarpy County Station, Bellevue Fire Training Facility located straight east of Sarpy County Station; Cass County Station, Murray Fire Department. For all peaking stations, area evacuations assemble upwind of the event. At all peaking station locations, CO2 and high-volume natural gas are present. Please stay clear of the turbine compartments while units are operating to avoid CO2 hazard. Also, remember to always close and secure all doors to avoid tripping the CO2.
One additional thing to keep in mind is that the natural gas supplied to Cass County Station is not odorized. However, the gas supplied to other peaking sites, Sarpy County, Standing Bear, and Turtle Creek, are odorized for detection purposes. Now let's discuss some specifics relating to our other generation sites, beginning with Turtle Creek Station. At Turtle Creek, the storm shelters are located in the employee break room and restrooms. In the event of an emergency evacuation, all employees and contractors should gather at the Springfield soccer fields off Highway 50. Keep in mind that Turtle Creek units can start at any time, even remotely with no operators on site. There are 2.4 million gallons of diesel fuel stored on site at Turtle Creek Station. In the event of a fire, it's important to keep in mind that the fire suppression systems are safe for humans, but never linger in the areas it protects. If you hear a fire alarm, exit the building immediately. Here are some specific points to keep in mind when working at the Standing Bear generation site. The storm shelters at Standing Bear Station are located in the peaking tech office, cafeteria, and restrooms. In the event of an emergency evacuation, all employees and contractors should gather in the Legends Zesto shopping area parking lot located at 6910 North 102nd Street. Similarly to Turtle Creek, Standing Bear units can start at any time, remotely without operators on site. Double hearing protection must be worn in the engine halls when engines are running. In the event of a fire, it's important to keep in mind that the fire suppression systems are safe for humans, but never linger in the areas it protects. If you hear a fire alarm, exit the building immediately. Standing Bear Station houses 720,000 gallons of diesel fuel, as well as lube oil, fuel oil, urea, glycol, and natural gas. So please be aware of the presence of these materials on site.
Should you have any questions about anything specifically related to the peaking stations, please contact your OPPD sponsor. At all peaking station locations, fuel oil-soaked insulation should be removed if welding and cutting activities are occurring in the area. More importantly, we expect you to work in a manner where you do not create hazards for yourself or others. It's very important that we take the steps to prevent injury to ourselves and to others. It's also important that we understand that we are here to do a job. At the completion of work, the entire area shall be cleaned of all debris generated from the contractor's work operations. Interior areas shall be cleaned free of settled dust, mortar, refractory, or other contaminants by broom or vacuum. At the end of the day, we want everybody to leave the job site as healthy as when they arrived. Your supervisor may cover some additional information with you about some specifics, and we strongly encourage you to ask any questions so you can work safely at our OPPD generating stations. Thank you.